Here's another money-saving and time-saving tip I thought I would throw out there, something I used to do. And whenever I had to build a pop-out like this, something like a ledge that was going to get a piece of plywood on it, I would usually frame it to where there wouldn't be a top plate and I wouldn't have all of this stuff in here. Here's how I used to do it. I used to simply frame a wall, nail a ledger to the wall. Any corners that I had, I would nail a 2x4 to it like this and simply put a piece of plywood on top. Saves me a couple of plates. And this I'm only suggesting here is for something that would be less than a foot, maybe 10 inches, something like that, away from the building. I always ended up nailing top plates on, you'd nail these top plates that were 6 inches and you would just end up splitting the heck out of them anyway, and it never seemed to work out that good. So this is actually what I did, and it seemed to work out fine. I would, if the building was, my pop-out was going to come in a straight line, I usually wouldn't put a block down here or block this. Now the reason why you'd put a block here is for the weep screed if it was stucco, maybe to give you a little more nailing on the siding. And up here would be the same way if you needed some type of a corner, something that you were going to need to nail some corner lath or trim on, something like that. You might actually need some more backing, and if that's the case, simply install a couple of boards. So this would work here if you were going to use a pop-out that was going to be over 12 inches. Let's just say you had a 2-foot pop-out. Just simply put a bottom plate in here, and if you need anchor bolts, fine. If not, I used to just nail them into the plate. Sometimes I'd put another board on top and finish it. So you just simply nail another 2x4 in this area, maybe rip one down and nail it down into the plates, something like that, to keep it to keep this board from moving. And this one right here, I would simply put the board up here and nail down, or you could always use some screws, and then the plywood's going to hold it together. Now you can see here how the plywood makes a nice tie. The plywood is actually going to provide you with a connection that the top plates would normally be doing. So, and it works. Just like I said, this is something I've been doing for quite some time, and it eliminates a lot of the problems you have when you're building one of these things that isn't very wide. I mean, I built these before where they're 6 inches wide, and you just simply frame this wall, put the ledger on, and nail the plywood on, and you're done. But to nail the plates and frame a couple different walls, what a nightmare. And for those of you who have done it, you know what I'm talking about. If you have a corner like you would here, then you could just simply have the ledger sit on top of the wall stud here, or run the wall stud all the way up to the top and then stop the ledger on the other side of the stud. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, wait a minute, how come there's no plate down here? We're not allowed to sit the wood on top of concrete. What's going on there? Well, this is another thing I'd like to share with you. I would simply hold this up, the board, any board I was going to nail here, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch off of the ground, off of this cement away from it, so that it wouldn't be touching it. And then, of course, I wouldn't need the treated lumber. And you could always use a piece of treated lumber here if you got some scrap pieces also. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to share this video with you was because I actually seen the picture I used in the beginning of the video. I was out taking some pictures, and I just thought, man, what a nightmare to frame it that way, when something like this will work fine, save you a couple of dollars in material and a little bit of frustration. So anyway, if you like the idea, don't forget to hit the old thumbs up button, and don't forget to share our channel with your friends and family also.